This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2.
Welcome to DBL. It's Wednesday, April 7th. I'm Jeff here with my friends Stephanie and Brandon. Rob, don't put that camera away yet. I want to say happy birthday to Chris, our producer over there. There we go. There he is. Happy birthday, buddy.
Happy birthday.
What a great shot. There's one for the photo album, Chris. Right in the dark there. Okay, let's get to it, guys. Happy birthday. Sharon Osbourne is disputing Cheryl Underwood's claims that she never apologized to her, and she has proof. Cheryl broke her silence on her podcast about their heated exchange on The Talk last month. Cheryl said she was disappointed by the situation, but she still loves the Osbournes. She also claimed that Sharon hasn't reached out since the confrontation, but Sharon, who has since left the show, disagrees. She gave the DailyMail.com screenshots of text messages allegedly sent to Cheryl. The first was sent 2 days after the blow-up. In that text, she said she was deeply saddened by what transpired on the show and was sorry for losing her temper, and that she considers Cheryl a genuine friend. Sharon also showed 2 more texts to Cheryl dated on March 15th and 18th. She said she was thinking about her and sending her love. So a lot of info there. Basically, she's got receipts on no screen grabs.
He's shaking his head.
Because this is where we're at now. We need receipts. Are you still my friend? Did you send that apology?
Of course you need a receipt if you've lost a multi-million-dollar gig and the world is saying you're racist. Yeah, you need receipts.
And this is the problem. This is the problem right now with what we have going on in America. Everything has to be a gotcha moment. I got you. I didn't get your receipts. I didn't get your text. Like, come on. This is a teachable moment that we hear on this panel, which we disagree with a lot. You mean to tell me that if me and Jeff disagree over whatever, then he can't be my friend again until you text me an apology?
But this is more than a disagreement. This was issues of racism right. and then also bringing in the network, saying she was set up and they've had to do an internal investigation. That's a lot bigger than us saying, you know, I don't like your tie or whatever.
I understand that, but I'm sure you have a friend who have said something that could be considered xenophobic. I'm sure you have a friend that have said something that could be considered homophobic. So you mean to tell me that if that friend offends you or someone else, that friend can't be your friend again until they send you some sort of text?
No, I think Sharon did the right thing here. I mean, I don't think Sharon's lying on this, because I don't think you'd go to the extreme of going to the Daily Mail, the biggest newspaper in England, showing phone records. I mean, that could get you in serious trouble if you're lying, you know? Like, I believe she did send that, but maybe she was blocked, and therefore the message wasn't received, and therefore she didn't get it.
Well,
I don't know.
Seem like Cheryl is keeping it up, right? She says, I still love the Osbournes, so it seems like she's not holding any ill will, at least on the outside. And to your point, Brandon, even if something as bad as racism, there's still a way through. You could still talk your way through, show someone, this is why what you said was wrong. They might not even know it. And they might, what technically they said was racist, but not know why it's racist. And that's where we need to bring more conversations onto the table instead of canceling people, and I know people don't like that word, and pushing them aside and just marching forward without solving that issue, whatever it was.
Yeah, there's going to be times where things are uncomfortable, or someone says something that hurts your feelings or is politically incorrect, and like we see how times are changing so much, like with children's books being pulled, Disney movies having Warner, you know, Sesame Street episodes being taken down. Like, times and the world has changed, and I think unless we all are willing to say, you know what, sometimes I'm gonna have to hold my hands up and say that was wrong, I didn't know, educate me, and then there'd be that weird or uncomfortable situation, and people having to educate themselves. It's also on them to be willing to learn and be more open-minded and go, you know what, that was wrong now, wrong then, and I'm not going to do it moving forwards, and like learn. But I genuinely think she did try and apologize there.
You need to give people, instead of pushing it aside, you need to give people a chance to explain what's going on. Otherwise, we're never going to get to the root.
Don't call it the talk, call it the conversation.
Ooh.
There you go.
I like that. I like that, buddy. All right. Rapper will.i.am has been busy during the pandemic. The Black Eyed Peas frontman has been helping Honeywell design a high-tech mask to help stop the spread of the virus. So check it out. The smart masks include LED lights, a fan, noise-canceling headphones, and filters. It costs $299 and available starting today. I could see Brandon London rocking one of these. You can pull it off.
Yeah, you could see me last year. We're almost at the end of the pandemic. You think I'm about to pay $299 for LED lights and a fan on my face? Absolutely not. I'm going to get the vaccine. I'm going to continue to wear a disposable mask and some Dill Blast headphones. That's all I need. I don't need no high-tech mask.
I don't understand why it's got LED lights on it.
I mean,
how are you going to even see them when it's on your face?
It's Black Eyed Peas.
2021,
it's Black Eyed Peas.
But I tell you what, will.i.am is quite the genius. I love him. He's developed multiple things, 3D printing devices. Literally, he's so cool.
I still don't understand.
Eyewear. He does all this recycling with like old cans and plastics and like. No, but he's got some certain rules on, like when it comes to body parts. He's actually really big on advocating for that.
He draws the line. Okay.
Like he draws the line. He's really big on saying, you know, don't play God kind of thing.
I don't understand either one. But
I think he's really genius, and I think, you know, it's going to be a high-level quality product that's going to stand the test of time. I do believe that. But at $299, I don't think so.
I don't think the price point is right, and like you said, I think we're coming to the end of this thing.
Yep.
But I think there is a market for something in the future, because even though the pandemic might come and go, and hopefully it goes, I think people are going to still wear like some sort of mask or protection on airplanes or in crowds. If you make them somewhat fashionable or cool or hip, I think it might, you know, like in Asia,
it's like right, everyone's been doing it for years.
And I mean, there's something to be said with the flu season that you know, not as many people.
I haven't had cold or oh gosh, I say this, I'm going to curse myself. I'm touching wood. I know, I shouldn't have said it. I've not had cold or flu for over a year.
I had a little itchy throat yesterday, so I'm not going to jinx it either.
Yeah. You guys stay on the
I'm
other
just saying, like, wearing a mask does work, though. It protects you.
Well, that's a whole different conversation. We're going to leave it there.
I think that people will. I think that people will probably continue on to wear masks, and it's more socially acceptable now because people won't think that it's weird. You know,
we're going down a tricky path there, so we're going to continue on. Adam Levine is proud to be a girl dad. The Maroon 5 singer posted a photo with his daughters and his wife holding hands and wearing matching dresses. Adam captioned the photo with, quote, "Girls just want to have fun."
I'm gonna look
Is that a reason for Adam Levine to take his shirt off and show his tattoos?
Technically, it's not taking your shirt off.
Those are fake laughs.
He has a dress on. But you're the father. He's getting a lot of blowback. Like people, because people, you know, people, yeah, they want to be on
the Pistons.
Yeah, the Pistons. But they're saying, oh, you shouldn't show that image to young kids.
Why?
Cross-dressing in a way. I don't understand that. You're the one with kids. I'm the greatest uncle in the world.
Listen, you know, you do weird things, and this has nothing to do with cross-dressing or transgender or anything. You do cool things and fun things with your kids,
exactly.
right? And you be goofy, and this has one thing doesn't have to do with the other. You can just have fun with your kids. I wear crazy things and take pictures with them. Does that mean I'm crazy? Because whatever, you know what I mean? This is just a guy having fun with his daughters.
Yeah.
To me.
No, one of my
and a reason to take his shirt off. That too.
Yeah, I think, you know, we've seen a lot of people do this. Like David Beckham used to wear sarongs, do you remember? And that wasn't for dressing up with his kids. That was him being like fashionable.
And who doesn't put, when you're a little kid, like run around in your mom's high heels or something? You never did that like as a kid?
I did that.
Of course you
I wore
did.
my mom's high heels. I used to get in trouble for that.
I used to love as well doing my granddad that passed away like a year or so ago. Like I used to love where he used to pretend he was asleep, and I would put like curlers in his hair and like put makeup on, and he'd pretend to be asleep and be like, "What have you done?" But he'd play along, and he was like, there was no messing with Jack Jones. Oh no.
Was that? Wait, are you talking about your brother?
My granddad.
Oh, your granddad.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't do that to your brother, right?
Oh, I did that to my brother, and he hates me to this day. I used to force him to be Scary Spice. I was Baby Spice. He was Scary Spice, and I would force him to play that part often. He'd say, "When are we going to play? Is Peter Andre famous in America?"
Who? Peter Andre?
Yeah.
The tennis
We
player?
both said who, so no.
No, okay. He was like a pop star in England. He was kind of like the heartthrob, you know, and he was like always with his kit off in waterfalls singing whatever. But yeah, he used to be like, "When we're going to play Peter Andre?" And I was like, "No, Peter Andre, Spice Girls." And I used to like force him to wear like leopard print dresses and everything.
Who was Ginger Spice?
We didn't have a Ginger.
Who was Posh Spice?
Oh, there you go. Look at us.
I'm trying to think.
They're famous. I don't know about Peter Andre, but they're famous.
My sister was too little. It was always just Baby Spice and Scary Spice. I just wanted him to be Scary Spice.
Who's the kind of risque like pop star I'm thinking of, and I can't think of his name. He's a good-looking guy.
Boy George.
Not Boy George. No, he's more, man, Robbie Williams. I was never going to.
Oh, love Robbie.
Yeah, I know who Robbie is.
He's famous here, right?
But is it like that genre, that type of thing?
Yeah. You know what the Spice Girls are?
What?
You know the Spice Girls?
Yeah, and I know Robbie Williams, but I don't know Andre.
Peter Andre. Oh, he's right up your alley. If you like Nick Lachey and all of that, you'd have loved Peter. He'd have died. You love Justin Bieber. Peter Andre would have rocked your world, Jeff. Let me tell you.
Don't you dare say he's better than the Biebs.
In the day,
leave it there.
back in the day.
All right, let's move on. Let's get this last story. And Shaquille O'Neal, I'm a big fan, is known as a big man with a big heart, and that heart was recently on display at a jewelry store in Georgia. Check this story out. Shaq was caught on camera paying for a stranger's engagement ring. He overheard the man making a payment on the ring, so he paid the balance in full. The man initially refused his act of kindness, but Shaq wouldn't take no for an answer. Shaq said he just tries to make people smile every day.
Bad investment.
What? Oh, an engagement ring?
No,
What?
Shaq doing that. 51% of marriages end in divorce. So
Can't you
just
look
gonna
at the bright
throw
side of the
money
story?
away like that, Shaq? Come on now.
Listen, he's giving it
just
away.
playing,
I know,
yeah.
you're just playing
I'm
around.
just
But this is awesome. I love this. I love Shaq. You know, Al Jackson wrote for Shaq, and he had nothing but the best stories about Shaquille O'Neal. So I guess this is who he really is.
I think it's really sweet and it's really nice. And if I was in the grocery store, I would love it. But I wouldn't want my engagement ring to be paid for by another man. I would not like that.
I can see where you're coming from, but
wouldn't
I
like
definitely
that.
would
I've
take
got to
it.
wear it on my finger every day and know that someone other than my husband has paid for that. I don't like that.
You're not paying for it.
It doesn't matter.
So who cares who gets
my
you the
commitment
ring?
is meant to be with my husband, and I would like to think that he was the one who bought my ring, not someone else.
So if you cared so much, you should have got a cubic zirconian.
Yeah, but I wouldn't care what it was. I wouldn't care what it was. And
I know, I'm just kidding.
I wouldn't care what the ring looked like, but if, you know, my husband is the one, I've got to wear that on my finger every day, and I wouldn't want another man buying my jewelry. I just wouldn't want it.
You don't think Shaq is a better story? Like, hey, I worked every day to pay off this ring. I should have probably done it because I spent too much money on it. And Shaq came in and paid for the rest of that. That's a story for the rest of your life.
I think he's very generous, and I think he's clearly a lovely man with good intentions, but I personally would not like it.
I hear what you're saying.
Wow.
If it was something different, if it was a car payment, you know, or if it was when you're in the grocery store, you've got all your groceries, and that's different. But your wedding or engagement rings, when it comes to that, I don't think that's right.
You know, diamonds are a sham, right? Don't let me get me started. We don't have time for this. It's a monopoly on the market, and De Beers has a big stack somewhere, and they overprice you, and they're the only people who sell them.
And you're feeding into it.
It's not
you won't
about
let
the
Shaq buy
ring.
one. You won't
It's
let
about
Shaq-
the sentiment and what it means.
All right. Well, I like it. I like that you're sticking up for your morals, Steph. Coming up on DBL, beauty queen drama. Why an original winner got her crown snatched from another contestant, and why is Ben Affleck showering J-Lo with all the compliments? Stephanie tells us what up, and What Up Wednesday coming up next.
Closed captioning provided by
This so-called double mutant variant was first discovered in India. As you can guess, this variant contains 2 mutations to the coronavirus. The mutations have been seen before in different variants. One is similar to a so-called California variant. The other was found in variants discovered in Brazil and South Africa. The first case of this double mutant in the U.S. was diagnosed in a patient in the San Francisco area. So what does this mean? Experts are concerned that these mutations make the variant more contagious. That's because both help the virus latch onto cells. India first revealed its existence in March, and now cases are surging in the country. In one hard-hit Indian state, political leaders claim the new variant is not necessarily to blame, instead pointing fingers at large gatherings. More research is needed on this double mutant variant, but experts are hopeful the current vaccines will be effective against it. Despite the lack of hard data, they point to the fact that the vaccines work on these same mutations seen individually in other variants. But the emergence of these new variants of concern reinforces to health officials that widespread vaccinations are needed to stop the creation of new mutations.
to DBL. I'm Stephanie Jones, here to dish up the week's best celeb gossip, like Olivia Jade and her sister Bella, who popped on over to prison to pick up their dad, and Ben Affleck's swoon-worthy interview talking about his ex, J-Lo. It's What Up Wednesday. But first, we're heading to Los Angeles to check in with Shailene Woodley and her beau, Aaron Rodgers. In an Instagram video, Shailene posted ahead of Aaron's 2-week stint as the host of Jeopardy. She sweetly flirted and petted her fiance, making it officially known that he is super sexy.
So you guys, I have a very important announcement to make. This guy right here is super sexy. Super attractive, just shaved his neck this morning, has a little man bun growing. Oh yeah, rocking my new shades.
That's right, that is a man bun on the star quarterback's head. And did you happen to catch that lovely engagement ring on Shailene's finger as she complimented Aaron's newly shaved neck? Here's what's up. I love seeing a woman proud of her man, and Shailene is truly Aaron's biggest fan. So I'll take happily ever after for 200 Aaron. Next, we're going to Miami, where the sun isn't the only thing that's making us sweat. In a recent article for InStyle magazine, Ben Affleck waxed poetic about his ex, Jennifer Lopez. And it turns out he has the same question for her as the rest of us do. He said, "Where are you keeping the fountain of youth? You look the same as you did in 2003, and it kind of looks like I'm in my 40s at best." And then he followed it up by complimenting her as the hardest working person he's coming across in the business to this day. Here's what's up. When it comes to Hollywood romance, very few of them actually have a Hollywood happy-wood ending. But even though benefit only lasted 2 years, it's nice to know there's no hard feelings, except maybe for their unfortunate film, Geely. And finally, we're off to Santa Barbara, where sisters Olivia Jade and Bella Rose Giannoli made a surprise visit to federal prison to pick up their dad, Mossimo. So you might recall, he and his wife, Lori Loughlin, well, they were involved in a tiny little college admission scandal. Fast forward to getting caught, going to prison. Well, Mossimo was just released a bit early and was greeted with surprises from his daughters. The pair popped out of the backseat as he got in the car, having been waiting for him to come out since earlier that morning. Here's what's up. When your kids pick you up from jail, you might want to take some more time to reflect on your life choices, love. But you know what they say, the family that disobeys together stays together. That's all for this week's What Up Wednesday. We'll be right back.
We all know that movement is like medicine, but getting the...
Verify exists to bring you the facts about the misinformation that's spreading on social media. A viewer sent us this Facebook post, which makes a couple claims about phone scams, like this. If you press *#90 or #09* while on the phone with another caller, they can, quote, access your SIM card, make calls at your expense, and frame you as a criminal. Sounds pretty out there, so let's verify if there's any truth to this. Our sources are the FCC and Kane McGladrey, a member of the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers. And they say that there's a grain of truth here, but that's all. The FCC has this warning on their website, that if someone calls your office phone and you dial these numbers, they could, quote, place calls that are billed to your office telephone number. That just means that they could transfer the call. But McGladrey told us that this only goes for office phones. Quote, this doesn't affect cell phones or residential landlines. So while it's true that this could make calls at your expense, the claim that they can access your SIM card is false. And as for the claim that they could frame you as a criminal, not so much. With your Verify, I'm Evan Kozlov.
Welcome back to DBL. So move over, Steve Harvey. There was a big dust-up at the Miss Sri Lanka pageant recently. So get this. One woman was announced a winner. There she is getting the crown placed on her head. But shortly after, last year's winner came on the stage to say there had been a mistake. Let's watch.
There's a rule that you all have to be married and not divorced. So I'm taking my first step saying that the crown goes to the first runner-up.
So very important note, it's Mrs. Sri Lanka, meaning she was married. You understand? She then takes the crown off the winner's head and places it on the first runner-up. The winner claims that she is not divorced, though, only separated, and that she was injured after the crown was forcibly removed. She's also threatening legal action against the pageant. Officials are now investigating.
She went full Kanye Taylor Swift at a Miss Sri Lanka pageant.
Mrs. Very important.
Very
because
important.
Because you have to be married to be in this pageant. That's what the whole...
pageant queen here.
I mean, okay, so if she is started any form of divorce proceedings, then yes, she shouldn't have been entitled to that crown.
Let's say she just separated. Ooh. Entitled?
If she's just living, so if you're separated, what you mean, like they're living in separate houses?
Yeah, they've been on the outs for the last 6 months.
Then I think she should be entitled to that crown. If she is still legally a missus, if she's still legally married, if she has not filed for divorce, she's entitled to that crown.
And they got separated because she found out that Shaq bought half of her engagement ring, so they had to start the proceedings.
She didn't like it. He wasn't man enough for her.
But why are we doing a pageant for all married women? Like, what, you trying to raise money for a GoFundMe or something?
What do you mean? Why are you doing a pageant for married women?
For all married women. I thought the whole...
Did you say all?
I said all. I said all. Come on.
Okay.
I just thought pageants and these sort of things were like for people to be like, hey, she's single, like I have a shot.
But not even single. Everybody.
Wait. Brandon thinks that women do pageants so that men like Brandon can see who's on parade.
I don't like your wording.
For like a little, let's have a go at her. She's single and available. Are you insane? They're not doing it for men like you. They're doing it to progress their careers or try and be models. Halle Berry was in Miss America. There were many other superstars that are mega famous. That's how they rose to fame.
Do they really want to save all the whales and the fishes like they say? Or is that just
a lot of them do genuinely care about charity, and you have to do charity work to be in the competition and raise a substantial amount of money.
Brandon, I'm gonna get you a shovel. You can dig
I can't believe this. I can't believe what I'm hearing.
I'm not texting you like Sharon.
We're gonna talk about this in the break. We'll be right back, everybody.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
The Verify team goes to the experts to get you the facts about statistics that might be floating around on social media. You may have seen tweets about reported deaths or miscarriages being linked to something called VAERS. So let's verify. What is VAERS and what can it tell us? Our sources are the VAERS website as well as two vaccine experts, Dr. Arnold Monto and Dr. Koser Talat.
It's very messy data.
Let's start with Dr. Talat, who says this system has some major shortcomings.
And the same person can be reported multiple times, like the patient might report it, their physician might report it, the pharmacist who gave them the vaccine might report it.
Right now, according to the CDC, more than 167 million doses have been administered nationwide. And as of the latest data, processed on March 26th, there were about 233,000 reports in VAERS, including about 1,800 reports of death and 66 reports of spontaneous abortion or miscarriages. Now, this is obviously some pretty scary sounding data, but our experts emphasize that just because something is reported doesn't mean it's connected to the vaccine.
When you see numbers from VAERS, they are following vaccination, but not necessarily caused by vaccination.
The FDA actually requires that vaccination providers report any death after COVID vaccinations to VAERS. The CDC writing, quote, "To date, VAERS has not detected patterns in cause of death that would indicate a safety problem with COVID-19 vaccines."
You can't draw any conclusions from looking at VAERS.
And if you need any more convincing on this, just look at the disclaimer on the VAERS website. Quote, VAERS reports alone cannot be used to determine if a vaccine caused or contributed to an adverse event or illness. The reports may contain information that is incomplete, inaccurate, coincidental, or unverifiable. So we can verify that posting stats from VAERS without context is just straight up misleading. With your Verify, I'm Evan Cosby.
Welcome back to DBL. It's time for a security alert sponsored by LifeLock. We're sharing some of the most popular financial tips that actually could cause you more harm than good. First, avoid paying off your mortgage too quickly. You could end up in debt or need to apply for a home equity line of credit. Just don't spend all your money at once, is what they're saying. Second, forget the old phrase, real estate will always go up. That's not always true since the market is constantly changing. And third, don't chase the hottest fad. Just because a stock or company is doing well doesn't mean you should hop on it. When it comes to your financial assets, LifeLock is here to help. LifeLock keeps you and your digital identity secure from cyber criminals. Call 1-800-439-9017 or visit lifelock.com to learn more. Brandon, I see you over there. You want to get something in?
No, just financial freedom is all about, buying the house in.
I thought you were going to say something about Miss America. All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow or Miss Sri Lanka. Bye, guys.